celebrating the power of possibility.
I'm Tim Harris, and I believe anything is possible.
This is Anything is Possible. Welcome. My name is Halloran Hilton Hill. These are great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. My guest today is definitely a champion of possibility, a story of possibility. I've talked to him before, but I was in your store the other day. We hadn't caught up in a bit. And every time, first of all, I think your life story is a miracle. Where God brought you from, what he's allowed you to accomplish as a businessman is unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. But then you told me about another miracle in your life, and I guess by now, Tim Harris, I should not be surprised. It seems like every time I see you, there's a new miracle to celebrate. So thank you for being here today.
So glad to be here, Hal.
You are a possibility person. You are the CEO, president of Knoxville Wholesale Furniture and the companies that control those entities, and you have done well.
We have. We've got a great group of people. Now, you know, in our core values, we give God the glory first. I mean, he gives us all of our strength, all of our ability, all of our opportunities. It's up to us to capitalize on those things.
How big is the company now?
Well, we've had sales.
And where'd you start?
We started 31 years ago. We've got sales of over 60 million now locally, which gives us one of the largest, 1 or 2, 3 top market shares in America. So we're very dominant here. We've got 185 great employees here that work here, and we were voted best place to work last year. So very proud of our culture and our core values.
You started this company from nothing. Like nothing.
Well, we both had a friend, Jim Dick.
We did, didn't we?
We both had a friend many years ago that let me rent a building that had been vacant for 2 years, and he said, "We cannot have a failure." You know, you can hear him now.
I can hear him.
I have to do well, and of course we had a lot of people depending on us going out there, so yeah, it's been a long time.
Had you been in the business prior?
Had been in the business. I had worked for a local furniture company for 10 years, rose to vice president. Very proud of that, and then wanted to go out and do my own thing.
Now, what did you do prior to that?
Well, I had 7 years, and this is the best part. You know, I tell people now, I'm old, but I tell people now, my goodness, I grew up in a preacher's home. I had that modeled for me. I got to go into service, which is teaching. I have a master's degree from Tennessee State in Nashville in English. And I was in the coaching football and teaching profession high school level. My alma mater hired me back.
Where's that?
In 1976, Portland High School, Middle Tennessee. Moved on to Ezell Harding Academy. Then moved on to Riverdale High School in Murfreesboro. My last stop was here at Farragut. We had a phenomenal team in the fall of 1981. And then...
So you thought you were going to be a coach?
That's all I ever wanted to do from age 13.
Football.
That's all I ever thought about doing.
You still love the game?
That's my only hobby. The company's been all-encompassing, but I still watch the games on the weekend and enjoy that.
Makes sense then to me that as a minister, no, you wouldn't call yourself that, as a coach and a teacher, now it's all coming together for me why culture is so important. I was watching Coach Prime, and he's talking all about this culture.
Love that. Love that.
But he's really teaching and selling a culture, and maybe the success of your business, first, glory to God, but you've been coaching.
Well, we have. We've run it just, you know, I've said this now years later, and I'm asked to speak at a lot of the companies in our industry. I had a father model for me service to others, care about it. Then I got to be in coach and learn how to handle and motivate people. I learned more than going to Harvard and getting a business degree. And so we've just kept on coaching, and we still stay very close to our employees. We get in there and just work right with them. And when you come into our stores, just in the last week, I've had a couple of people say, your people look different. And they do. We require people to come in and dress nice and really, I had a heart attack earlier in this year and I took a week off. That's a joke, but it's true. I just took a week off, but I had time to think and I thought, you know what? I'm worried about our culture in the country, really worried about it. We're going to go back. We're not going to slide at all. We're going to go back 20 years and rethink about things that make people great, that make people successful. So that's very important to us.
So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, though, when I said the same thing when I came into your store. And by the way, as you're looking around our set, you're seeing a bit of Knoxville Wholesale Furniture, by the way. But when I came in the store, and I mentioned it to you, I said, man, there's a vibe, there's an energy in here. Your folks are really professional. They look professional. All of that's great. But if you're not serving people well, and if you're not connecting with people, if all of that is not a platform for service, it doesn't mean anything. Because I've been in places where people are dressed really well, and in terms of the way the product is showcased, it's beautiful, and it's just cold. And it's just, I didn't think anybody cared about me. But in that business, I was like, man, this is incredible. And then I see a lady with a shopping cart full of cleaning supplies, walking around the business, cleaning up stuff, arranging things. And you said, you remember my wife, this is a family business, and your wife to this day, right by your side, literally walking around with a cart, cleaning, and she doesn't have to do any of this stuff. Talk a little bit about this family partnership.
Well, when we started Hal, immediately after about the third year, we became pretty successful. And we just said along the way, let's just keep doing what we did and we started. My wife still does the accessories. She goes out, she rips open boxes, physically does things, cleans. We don't have to do that. We could hire many people to do it. I still get out. Every piece of that furniture is placed because I said, put it there. I might have helped move it there. We just said, let's just stay close to our people. I had a CEO call me last week and said, I've got 3 regional managers. I'm going to hire a national sales manager. What do you think? I said, no, get rid of all of them but one. You stay close to the business. And so I think one of the secrets is all of our great players still play. We don't have people up in offices hiding away. You come in there, there's no cubicles. It's an open flow of information. We don't have anybody hiding out. And so it's accountability on a daily basis, but we've really made it a point. I've seen this modeled the wrong way when my son came back from college. I took him to the warehouse and I said, give him the worst job over here. And he stayed there for several years. Most people in my position bring their son right in, they go to lunch with them every day, they make them a big shot and ruin them. And so we've tried hard in our family, let's just stay right where we were in the beginning.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel.
From a business perspective, though, I've talked to a lot of business leaders, and I have a lot of business leaders as friends and associates. The thing that gets most businesses is hubris. When you get a little arrogant, you think you got it figured out, you think you know everything, it stifles your ability to learn and adapt. But the other thing is you lose touch with what's actually going on the ground. So I would imagine that you and your wife being in the stores, physically touching product and people, it gives you a pulse about product, what's moving, what's not, and people, what's motivating them and what's not. The data is probably real time, and you don't wake up a quarter later and go, well, what happened last quarter? You feel every day of every quarter. Does that make sense?
So true. And you referenced Coach Sanders out of Colorado. So I've never seen, I'm a football guy that really watches it, never seen anybody go in, change everything, change the coaches, come out and execute on the road in 100-degree weather that well. And the reason is I have a good friend, Sal Sinceri, who's his defensive line coach.
Wow.
And he told me, he said, we don't waste time analyzing, overanalyzing, overthinking. He said, we're out there scrimmaging. He said, these kids were way further along than most people the first game. So in business, you want to cut out all the mess. You know what my dad modeled for me the night before? I would see him shine his shoes every Saturday night. He's going to preach the next day. Now, they didn't need it even. He had a pattern. The next morning, he's up at 5. I heard him going over his sermon. Halloran, it starts the night before, and then you have to be prepared, but you have to come in and actually do the work and stay there. We had a lady stay in our home a month ago that's the most successful female business person in the world. She's worth $5 billion from China. But her paradigm thought is totally different from ours. In America, we're so addicted to entertainment and we want to do so many activities, we're not focusing on what's really important, which would be family, and how do you support your family. So we've tried to stay really to those core basic values that we have in the work ethic.
Let's talk about miracles. I mean, your business success is fantastic. The greatest success is knowing the love of God. That's the ultimate success. We got the ultimate. You, sir, are not supposed to be sitting here. You were a goner. And when you told me this story, I was like, you got to be kidding me. You were supposed to be out of here. I mean, out of here. In fact, if I remember the story correctly, you were out of here.
I passed for a
What
few
happened?
moments. Well, I didn't even have a doctor. I'll be 69 this fall. It had been so long I'd been to the doctor, I didn't really have one. It had lapsed. And I didn't feel good, and I told my wife, I said, let's just go out and walk and make me feel better. We can get 100 feet. And I knew, man, I'm having a heart attack, something's bad wrong. They came and got me at the house. If you can believe this, Hal, God, I guess we got more to do. I told my wife, drive me to the hospital, which is a no-no, and she gets in and her key fob, the battery's down and it won't start. That's the first thing. That saved me because then the ambulance came, but on the way I passed. They revived me.
Passed?
Well, I died.
You flatlined.
Yeah, and they went in and shocked me and did everything to bring me back. And then I came back to the room after surgery and got.
Wait, that's too fast. You flatline, they shock you. Do you see what you just did? You just skipped over the surgery.
Yeah.
You flatline, they bring you back, and you go into surgery. What surgery?
Well, they put stents in my heart, did some other things, brought me back to the room, and I got so nauseated, violently sick, stent broke loose, flatlined again. They called the surgeon, he's going to me, he said,
Flatlined again?
Shock this guy to the max, he's probably not going to make it. Now, this is the funny part. I had COVID. I didn't take the shot or anything, had COVID, got well, but it affected my smell. The second time they shocked me so hard, my smell came back like a 5-year-old. One of the funny things, stayed awake during the second surgery, I was so awake. But a great doctor originated from Pakistan, did a great job. But I feel great now. They've made me do things differently. I'm trying to calm down a little bit.
You flatlined twice, Tim.
Yes.
And you blow by it as a footnote. You realize how serious that is?
Well, it was. I got home a week and I had them bring work out, but I realized during that time, I didn't want to retire. I mean, I've got all this time, I can certainly do that, but I really love what I do, and I love being around our people. We have such great people. My goodness, we've got so many people been there 20, 25, and 30 years. That's a responsibility to make things ever improved for them, and so many friends in our industry.
So do you think, and I use this very loosely, and I don't want to project or put anything on you that you don't want. Ministry through business?
If somebody said, what's the thing you're most proud of? It's not the sales, it's not being the dominant player. We're the biggest in the Mid-South now. At our warehouse, every morning, they have a devotional. And we've had many, many, many people come to know the Lord there.
So it seems like the what is important, but it seems like the man I talk to, it's like the why is on fire for you. What we do is what we do, but it seems like the why is on fire for you, because our conversation was really about the promotion of the values that make people and companies great and allow people and companies to flourish.
The values are give God the glory first. Number 2, Christian principles found in the Bible. There are rights and wrongs. Number 3, patriotism, love of country. Number 4, love of employees and love of the community, which means giving back, and we're doing that in a huge way now. And number 5, can-do winning attitude. And you notice I said can-do. Now, we're nice people, but we're also very tough, and we want to succeed. Can-do means it's got to get done. Can-do winning attitude.
That's that old coach in you, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So we have expectations for our people.
That's a great thing. What do you want to do with the rest of your life when you finally do get to break the golden cord? And
I'd like to go 10 more years. I would like, and my son is continuing to ease in. He's president of the company, Tyler. He's 43 now. He's phenomenal. We've had him on a 20-year journey, bringing him up the right way, knows everything about the company. Continue to make the company, but my focus is, what I've come to know my place was, for many years I thought I was supposed to be a preacher. My dad wanted me to, but I didn't want to. I felt guilty about that. What I've come to know was we've been able to have some success to give back. And we're giving back right now in a big, big way, and we want to be known as the most charitable company that we can possibly be to give back to help others. And also inspire others to give. We tell every employee, doesn't matter what you make, everybody should give something.
you know, one of the great things, and I hope people recognize this, business is a wonderful way to improve society.
Yes.
When you have a really great business operation that operates well, that organization, that institution develops people, it creates value. I mean, businesses, when they are well run, create value. And I was talking to Jim Ethier at Bush Beans about his grandfather, and when he started that whole thing, there was an absence in the marketplace. There was no general store. There were no jobs. He started a business to create value in a community, right? So when businesses are run well, they create value. So you said you got 185 people. They're buying cars, they're buying furniture, they're buying homes, they're putting kids through college, they're giving back. But then the business itself is offering products and services that create exceptional value. But then the profitability of the enterprise allows you to be philanthropic. It allows you to give back. And I think that's something that's missed on people who are anti-business. They don't see the value creation at multiple levels. levels.
Multiple levels, and Hal, another great point on that is getting the employees to where they can take care of their family. They may have to take care of their parents. There's going to be responsibilities down the line. Great story I was telling you, you've got a young man here in your organization that's lost 80 pounds, 90 pounds. Well, we have a man, Lou Gray, works for us, who's just done the same thing. Great story. Started out as the janitor at Circuit City. Now he's come all the way up, works for us, has made north of 6 figures many years in a row for us, has been able to provide for his family in a better way, even buy a second home. Goes from janitor to that. Now look what that's going to mean for his family. He's got a beautiful daughter. She's a swimmer. She's got a chance to go on to... So all of these things, the employees, what it does in their personal lives, in their family.
I think it's a wonderful thing. How do you want to be remembered?
Well, you know, we just want to be remembered as we did a good job focusing on our industry and became successful, but the giving back, and then we created an atmosphere. Now, we're all sinful. We're all going to make mistakes. You can poke all kinds of holes in all of us. But that's our direction, and we want to create an atmosphere where people can succeed. And we have had a lot of people come into our company, and their lives have been changed.
Wow. Thank you, Coach.
Well, thank you, Hal.
Tim Harris, thanks for being on Anything Is Possible.
Yes, sir.